There seems to be an all-out war in Corridos Tumbados land, and regional Mexican artists are falling in line behind the generals of this conflict, namely Peso, Pluma, and Jesus Ortiz Paz of Fuerza Reda. The latest sneak disses and drama are just insane. The most recent person to take a side was young Javi, who according to reports reached out to Peso to collab back when he was starting out. At the time, he was relatively unknown, so it sounds like he got a return to sender on that invitation, and ever since then, he held a bit of a grudge. So now that he's got some legitimacy, you know, he's pulling a bit of a Peso himself, cheating on his baby moms. Peso's like, alright, I see you, young grasshopper, wanna collab. And Javi initially rejects the offer because he's still holding a grudge. But then he sees the light and what a great business opportunity it is. And you know, Peso initially rejecting him wasn't personal, he was unknown, it was just business, you know? So Javi tries to get the collab with Peso going again, and guess what? This time, Peso's like, nah, blood, you had your chance, you blew it, I've got an ego too, apparently. So then Javi apparently sneak disses Peso on a podcast saying you should never meet your idols.
Yo quiero hacer una canción con... Es que no sé, güey, la neta. ¿Para qué te miento, güey? O sea, te puedo decir, güey, pero al final no tiene nada de sentido porque... O sea, tú sabes, no puedes conocer a tus héroes, güey.
No te gustaría, pues.
O sea, quería, güey, pero ya entendí que por el otro lado no, pues, no me explico.
Ok.
O sea, pero sí, güey. Entonces me gustaría hacer una canción con eso, güey, pero simplemente... O sea, cada quien, pues, entiende.
¿Quién es?
No te puedo decir, papá.
¿Pero es del regional?
Sí.
Ok.
Sí.
Bien.
Y si no se ha hecho es porque no te la sabes. Yo siempre he estado puesto, pero en esta industria son bien celosos, papá. Ya sabes quién, verga. ¡Ah, la verga! Ya sabes quién era, hijo de tu puta madre.
Venga, tu madre.
¡Ah, la verga! No.
Now, keep in mind, a lot of this is conjecture and guesswork. Some people are saying that Javi was actually talking about Nata, but Peso certainly seemed to think that Javi was talking about him, putting this on his stories around that time. While the emojis are vague, it does seem like he's implying Javi's a baby and saying that he's his pops or something, with Peso's fans echoing the sentiment, albeit with a little more vitriol.
Esta industria son bien celosos, papá. Ya sabes quién, verga. ¡Ah, la verga! Ya sabes quién era, hijo de tu puta madre.
Venga, tu madre.
So, JOP and Peso Pluma have had this rivalry for ages now, and there are a couple of schools of thought about how it started. Many people think it's because Peso refused to release or play his collab with JOP, and JOP kept mentioning it and sneak dissing Peso, saying that he paved the way for him and that Mexicans, in this case Peso, don't like to see other Mexicans succeed.
How cool was it to see him do the VMAs?
It was dope. Like, Mexican music, he's one of the ones that's why I bring up that road. Like, he took advantage of that road we built. We haven't spoke. You know how it is, man. A lot of Mexicans don't like to see Mexican wins, bro.
There's another theory being pushed by 44 Vato and the Augusto Papa boys that Peso in fact started the beef around May of 2023 because he felt Fuerza Reda had ripped one of his songs, so he vague posted about it and started liking anti-JOP comments, sparking the feud. Around that time, he did a sarcastic imitation of JOP on stage. Now, whichever theory you buy, the facts are these two pioneers of Corridos Tumbados do not like each other, with the constant sneak disses and overt disses, and it now looks like they're recruiting the next generation because Javi has reportedly teamed up with JOP to do a collab. Meanwhile, Peso's boy Tito WP was supposed to do a collab with Fuerza Reda titled Rosones, which reportedly he wrote, but word on the street is that Peso intervened and didn't let it happen. And on a recent live stream, JOP seemed to be making fun of the short leash that Peso's got Tito on.
¿Para cuándo una rola con Tito WP? Ah, es que no lo dejan al viejo. Ya teníamos ahí algo, pero lo regañan.
As you can see here, the whole crew is making fun of Peso, with Pelon doing these imitations of Peso's face when he was allegedly performing on Perico that one time. So yeah, lots of sneaky little gems back and forth. Tito would seemingly respond on stage by mockingly singing a Fuerza Reda song and saying this about it.
Esta se llama el Rubicón porque dicen que soy mamón, también que soy culero. Pero que chinguen a su madre porque yo muy poco les...
Now, while a lot of this is very light and petty and pretty funny, there is a serious undercurrent to the whole rivalry, because Peso recently did an interview with Billboard where he seemed to reference JOP's comment where he said that he paved the way, and Peso gave him his flowers, but he was also implying that JOP might be taking advantage of his artists.
Que van y se paran y se paran el cuello diciendo que ellos son los que sí pavimentaron un camino y tienen y honor a quien honor merece, hacer lo que les hacen a sus artistas. Y yo soy el único perdón que me exprese así, pero que tienen los huevos para venir y pararse en un panel de Billboard y decirles a todos los artistas y talentos nuevos que están saliendo que se pongan trucha.
Fans in the comments are sounding off about how JOP's staff are underpaid compared to Peso's, which might or might not be true, but the fact is JOP has created a well-oiled machine that functions regardless of the talent on the bill. Now, both Fuerza Regida and Peso are set to go head-to-head for Top Latin Artist in the Billboard 100 Awards, so we'll see at least who the industry is backing in this feud. But who are you backing, chat?